the Clear Lake City Council of Monday, September 19, 2022 shall come to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Motion to approve the agenda, please.
Second.
Moved by Mark, seconded by Mike, that we approve the agenda. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. To the consent agenda, you have a copy of the minutes of September 6, 2022, and we have two resolutions here. Resolution 2265, a resolution to refer a proposal on rezoning to Planning and Zoning Commission for recommendation. And C, Resolution 2266, this is a resolution approving P5 subdivision, and that's in the county, Saragordo County, within 2 miles of Clear Lake. We also need approval of the bills and claims, of which you also have a copy. We have the following licenses and permits: an excavator license, Ryan Williamson Construction, and S&H Environmental. Those are both new. Motion, please, and we'll have to take a roll call. Motion, please, to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that we approve the consent agenda. Roll call. Mark?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Gary?
Yes.
Bennett?
Yes.
And Dana?
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. The consent agenda is approved, and Resolution 2265 and 2266 are duly adopted. Now is the time and place for any citizen in the audience who wishes to address the council on any issue or concern that is not on the agenda. Please approach the podium, state your name first and last so the clerk can properly enter your name in the minutes. Please state your name first and last and give your address. Welcome, Mark.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Mark Dodd, D-O-D-D, CEO with One Vision, located at 1200 North 9th Street West here in Clear Lake. I'm here tonight to extend a personal invitation to you all to our event coming up on October 16th, Navigating the Waters of Inclusion. This event is being held at the Surf Ballroom from 3 to 7 p.m. in the evening. This is a free event thanks to the generosity of our sponsors. However, we do ask that everyone register ahead of the event. The purpose of this event, and the reason I want to speak to you personally, is twofold. First, with our having to hunker down over the last couple of years with the pandemic and everything, this is an opportunity for us to reconnect with the Clear Lake community. We have received such tremendous support over the years. We want to say thank you to the community for that support. It's also an opportunity for the community and for the community leadership to re-engage with the people that we serve and our mission. And it's an opportunity for us to highlight some of the really innovative and interesting things and cool things, I think, that we have going on in services, expansion into technology-enhanced services, expansion into host home services, some really cool things going on in our thrift department, in our recycling department. And so we hope that those are things that would be interesting to everyone. The second, of course, is for us to engage in an opportunity to come together and imagine what's possible with a community to think about full inclusion for individuals with disabilities. The second part, or the main part of the event that evening, is a premiere of the film In a Different Key. It's a story about love, difference, and the desire to belong. One of the storylines in that film is the story of the very first person ever diagnosed in the United States with autism, and the community that got it right with that individual when it came to him being a full member of that community. There are many similarities between that community. If you come and watch the film, you'll see that for yourselves. And we felt that engaging our Clear Lake community with the film and its message was the perfect opportunity to talk further about inclusion and belonging for individuals with disabilities in our community. This community conversation is crucial because while a person can choose to live in a community and maybe want to be a member of the community, the other half of that equation is that the community has to want that person to belong and to be included. And so we hope that this is, again, an opportunity for our community, which we know values inclusion, as evidenced by the support that we've had over the years, and even most recently, the community's investment, the large community and the council's investment in the Everybody Plays playground. As leaders in our community, you have a significant voice in the community taking further steps towards inclusion. Following the film, we'll have a quick Q&A with the film producers and myself, and an opportunity to discuss, things that they've seen. So they've done premieres across the country in communities, advancing the idea of inclusion, and then to talk a little bit about the different barriers that still exist in our community regarding inclusion. Some of the discussion will be easy and some of it will be hard, but it will all be valuable to Clear Lake to becoming a great place for everyone to live. So I hope that you'll register for the event and join me on October 16th. I've left you an invitation at your seats. You can register at www.onevision.org, and I thank you very much for your time.
And this is at the Surf Ballroom?
At the Surf Ballroom, yes.
They have popcorn?
There will be free popcorn, free hors d'oeuvres, free pop, and great conversation, and a very intriguing and interesting film.
And
so
very appropriate for our community, too. Thanks for being
Absolutely.
here. Yeah,
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Anyone else in the audience wish to address the council? None appearing. Move on to unfinished business, which we have none. 6, new business. 6A, Consolidated Urban Renewal Area Economic Development Projects, plural. Review of proposals. Creighton Schmidt, Director of Finance and Administrative Services. Welcome, Creighton.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. First, most importantly, I am not a Lions fan. I'm a Bears fan. Second, I did not lose a bet. I don't like losing, so as Gary knows, he tried to bet with me on the Iowa game, and I wasn't having that either. But Scott so proudly wears his Lions gear after the Lions win, and since it only happens once or twice a year, I'm representing for him. So go Lions, and I was actually at the game yesterday too, and it was a good experience. I think it was the best half the Lions have played in, I don't know, at least 20 years, but they did really well. So go Lions, Scott. So the first item here, item 6A, on the Urban Renewal Economic Development Projects. So we've been on this one for a couple of months now. Back on the July 18th meeting is when we first sought to undertake some amendments and modification to the city's urban renewal plan. And really in order to incorporate these 3 projects, one of which we've already acted on, and the other 2 which we are acting on tonight. One of those being the Pritchard's Innovation Center and Lake Lifestyles property, and the other being the former CERTA building property. So first, just to give an overview of the Pritchards, that one has a max of $250,000. It's over a 7-year period. Those are biannual payments. They are also working with the IEDA High Quality Jobs Program with the state, where they are going to at least have 30 of those high quality jobs, and those are the same qualifications that we've put on our plan here as well. So this will be a period from December 1st of 2024 until June 2030. The second one here is for the CERTA private developer. That's $375,000 maximum over the same 7-year period, and they've also signed on to work with that IEDA High Quality Jobs Program, and we'll do a minimum of 15 of those high quality jobs. So tonight we will conduct the public hearing, and then we'll have the resolution as well.
Council, any questions for Creighton? As Creighton says, we've discussed this for a few weeks here now. Mike?
Yeah, just one comment. Several years ago, actually it was quite a few years ago because we were still back in the other council dais, and we had a pretty good crowd there that night, and we had one constant critic that showed up and didn't matter what he was going to criticize us. It was going to be something. So that particular night, he decided to attack on the idea that we never discuss anything. And this brings to mind the same concept because it was something we had talked about for like 4 previous meetings, one after another. And, you know, it was finally time to just wrap it up and move forward, and it didn't involve a lot of discussion. But he soundly criticized us for not discussing it at length, and we moved on. So every once in a while, it happens.
That doesn't mean you want me to continue with this, right?
Not unless you have more wonderful things to say about the Lions, just for Scott.
Any other comments, council?
Yeah, just real quick, Mayor, I think one of the very exciting things about this, though, and like I said, Creighton, we've talked about it for weeks now, but we've got some really innovative, high-quality businesses in Clear Lake with projects like this. And so, again, it's always very exciting to hear kind of what's going on with that, and again, some cutting-edge kinds of things. So I think, again, what we do is we like to partner with these businesses, public-private partnerships, and so I'll look forward to seeing how these businesses grow going forward, and I think they'll be very positive for Clear Lake. So thank you.
Yeah, definitely. And that's a good point not to get lost in what this is going for, right? So we have 2 buildings that have wonderful opportunities. We have a vibrant community where one building, unfortunately, is no longer used for CERTA anymore. But within a matter of weeks, we had multiple parties who were interested in making that not only what it's doing now, but maybe something greater in the future. And same can be said about what's going on at the Pritchard's Innovation Center, even right across the street over here. So these are great developments for the community, for sure.
Right, I think that's an excellent point to make. Thank you. Yep.
Any other comments, council? Thank you. Great. Now is the time and place for the public hearing with regard to the Consolidated Urban Renewal Area Economic Development projects. If there's anyone in the audience who wishes to address those projects, please approach the podium, state your name first and last, give your address so clerk can probably enter the minutes. Welcome, Chad.
Chad Schreck with North Iowa Corridor Economic Development, 9 North Federal, Mason City. You guys said it, and we've said it all, I think, over the last couple of months. You've heard my story on some of these projects, but just again, thank you guys. Thank you to Scott and Creighton team putting these things together. I think it is a great public-private partnership, as Bennett said. Great companies, great developments in our community, and again, reutilizing important, really key buildings in our community and for North Iowa in general. So appreciate the support of this from the council and the mayor and Scott, and just look forward to the future with these companies and continued growth and opportunities. Thank you.
Appreciate your comments, Chad. Thanks. Anyone else? Mark?
Good evening again, Mayor and Council. I'm in front of you on this agenda item as Vice Chair of Legislative Affairs for the Clear Lake Area Chamber of Commerce. On behalf of the Chamber Board and the directors and membership, I'd like to encourage the Council to act in favor of the Urban Renewal Area Economic Development projects on the table. The significant private investment from all 3 projects reflects the health of the local economy. Seeing 3 unoccupied buildings purchased, improved, and soon creating high-quality jobs is exciting for our region. So thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Anyone else in the audience? Thank you. I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing with regard to Consolidated Urban Renewal Area Economic Development projects.
So offered.
Second.
By Mark, seconded, Mike, seconded by?
Mark.
Where am I? Dana?
Oh, Dana.
Dana. Then we close the public hearing. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. And now I'll entertain a motion to approve Resolution 2267, a resolution approving development agreement with Pritchard Companies, authorizing annual appropriation tax increment payments and pledging certain tax increment revenues to the payment of the agreement. Motion, please.
So moved.
Moved by Bennett, seconded by Gary, that we approve Resolution 2267. Is there any discussion? Roll call. Mike?
Yes.
Gary?
Yes.
Bennett?
Yes.
Dana?
Yes.
And Mark?
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Resolution 2267 is duly adopted. Now I'll entertain a motion to approve Resolution 2268, a resolution approving development agreement with a private developer, authorizing annual appropriation tax increment payments, and pledging certain tax increment revenues to the payment of the agreement.
Second.
Moved by Gary, seconded by Mark. We approve Resolution 2268. Is there any discussion? Roll call, Gary.
Yes.
Bennett.
Yes.
Dana.
Yes.
Mark.
Yes.
And Mike.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Resolution 2268 is duly adopted. Thank you. 6B, East Main Avenue Street Reconstruction and Bike Lane Extension Project. Project update, review of pay estimate number 3, Mr. Petersburg, Veenstra, and Kim. Welcome, Jason.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I'll start with a project update. Work on the East Main Avenue project is proceeding right at or slightly ahead of schedule at this phase. All utility work east of 10th Street is complete. The rock base is installed from 14th to 12th, and they're currently working on the grading work from 10th to 12th. So with good weather, we need a couple of good drying days. They'll have the rock base installed from 10th to 12th, probably by early next week. Wix Construction, the prime contractor, will be on site tomorrow. They're going to start setting some string line and doing some fine grading. They do plan to pave 10th Street to 14th Street, hopefully early October is what we're looking at. So if the weather cooperates, things are looking good there. McKinnis, the utility and grading subcontractor, they're working on removals now, going from 10th West to 9th, and then they're going to move on to the sanitary sewer main construction. So with good weather, the utility work will be wrapped up by the end of October. If we get a favorable weather early November, we're looking at having all 6 blocks paved with concrete prior to winter shutdown here.
Wow.
Pay estimate 3 in your packets is for work completed in August. Net amount due to Wix Construction is $347,265.61. V&K recommends approval of pay estimate number 3.
Council, any questions for Jason? No issues at all at this point, right? That's great.
Doing good.
Let's keep her that way, right? Yeah. Thank you, thank you. Entertain a motion to approve pay estimate number 3 with regard to East Main Avenue Street Reconstruction Bike Lane Extension Project to Wix Construction, Decorah, Iowa, in the amount of $347,265.61.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Gary, seconded by Dana, that we approve pay estimate number 3. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. Thank you. 6C, South 15th Street Everybody Plays Inclusive Park and Playground Project. Intro recommendation to award a contract. Creighton Schmidt. Welcome again, Creighton.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This is another one with very great partnership within the city, within the community, within the Everybody Plays group as well. And this is one that I've been a part of for probably about 18 months now and had the privilege of working on. And really from the initial stages where there was some money raised for the equipment and looking at different locations to where we are now, a really exciting project for the community. And we're at the point now where we've received bids and all that, and we're right on the doorstep of actually breaking ground there. So it's been excellent to be a part of that. Just to remind everyone, the city had budgeted $1.8 million for this project. We went into the bid letting with that estimated amount right around $1.8 million. Of course, right now, bids are, in some cases, even hard to come by, right? So there's supply issues, there's inflationary issues, and so we were very excited to have a couple of bids to begin with. So we did receive 2 bids. We received one by Dean Snyder Construction in the amount of $1,977,500, and one from Henkel Construction for $2,725,000. There was an alternate bid item, which was for a zip line in the park. Snyder had a bid for $74,000 for that item. Our recommendation at this point is to award the contract to Dean Snyder. And again, looking at the bid, we're happy with where it came in. We've had a couple projects recently that either didn't have bids or the bid price was way over what we had estimated, some of that due to the amount of projects that people have already taken on. So we are very excited for that bid, and hopefully they'll be able to get moving on the project pretty quick here, and we'll have a park within a year or so. So Christy King is here to review the bids as well.
Thanks. Any questions, council? Great. Thank you. Welcome, Christy. Christy King, Berglund and Cram.
Hi, good evening, Mayor and Council. So not a ton to add to what Creighton summarized nicely there. Like you said, there's 2 bids received. Maybe just for your information, after the end of the bid process, we had actually 12 general contractors on the plan holders list. So that was either companies that were kind of given the plans or eventually requested the plans. So initially we were pleased with the amount of interest that this project got, but then like Creighton mentioned, you never know who's going to, show up and put a bid in. So very fortunate to at least have 2 comparative bids. And we also would mirror that recommendation of taking Dean Snyder's bid. And I think maybe just one other thing to add is just even the spectrum of costs that was reflected in the 2 bids that you received kind of goes to show the very much instability of the game of estimating and where a project ends up at this point in time. But I think the committee and everyone on this project worked really hard to control the scope as much as possible to be favorable for an end cost. Any questions?
Any questions for Christy? And we spent 18 months working on this.
An inclusive process, right? Yeah.
That's good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now is the time and place for the public hearing with regard to the South 15th Street Everybody Plays Inclusive Park and Playground Equipment. Anyone in the audience that wishes to speak, please approach the podium. Welcome.
Good evening. So once again, I'm just going to say that I am honored and proud, but mostly humbled to live in the community that I do. Clear Lake's a wonderful community that supports many, and I'm just honored to be here and to have this come to completion. So what started about 5 years ago with an image in my mind and a dream to have an inclusion playground and a wild, fast-talking conversation with Mayor Nelson and Scott is now coming to full completion. So our committee did a lot of fundraising. We did receive wonderful donations and grants and an anonymous $100,000 donation that really kicked this off. And we're just beyond grateful to the city for taking this way bigger and making it just more than we could have expected. We are just so honored and just appreciative of all of this. And then to bring in the architects and the wonderful work that they've done in all of this, and it's been just a lot in the making. But to include, to have an adult changing table, because that is a big concern when families, our kids do grow up. They get older, they don't stay little forever, even though I wish they did, they don't. To put that in there, the accessible parking, now to add the exclusive splash pad, that's another piece of this. Our kids don't get to just go down to the lake and do that. It's not safe for them. Putting the fencing around it so we have that sense of security. I've said it from the beginning, Everybody Plays will be a destination for many, but this playground will also be something that our community will be proud of for years and years to come. So thank you so much. Thanks to Clear Lake, thank you to the city.
Thank you. Laura?
And we also wanted to include that we do have additional budget within our account that will cover like a majority of that difference from the bid.
Fantastic. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Anyone else in the audience wish to speak to that? Entertain a motion to close the public hearing?
So offered.
Second.
Moved by Mike, seconded by Mark, that we close the public hearing with regard to the South 15th Street Everybody Plays Inclusive Park and Playground project. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Same. Motion carries. Just a little discussion here if you want before we take action on Resolution 2269 and 2270. And that is, from my standpoint, I want to thank both of you folks and your committee that worked so hard for so long and got the initial, I believe, if my mind is right, 265,000 to begin with. And it seems to me that keeps adding to all of that as we go down the line. So appreciate, your initiative to move this forward, to think up the idea for first to begin with, and to keep it moving forward. And you did a wonderful job. And as Christy will say, there's a wonderful citizens committee that we had working on that for those 18 months. Yeah. Any other comments, council, before we get to this?
Yeah, I've got a couple. I too would like to thank the group with the initiative and just the collective planning. It's just great to see a lot of different people from different walks of life come together in a community and create something like this. Little bit of history, and once again, bear with me. I know I can't help myself, but when I was a youngster growing up in Clear Lake, that area had a railroad spur coming off the Main Avenue railroad tracks that went south. And it went south right through the treed area behind those new condos and the dance studio and things like that. It went to a stockyards. There was a stockyard down there. Clear Lake was a little bit of a tourist community, but at that time it was one of your hundreds or thousands of ag communities in Clear Lake, and that was part of the ag community, a stockyard, a hog buying station, and there was also a greasy old tank car sitting on cement pilings where they would put oil in it, and during the summer you got to put oil all over the streets because most of them weren't paved yet. With a sand covering and things like that. The other thing I remember as a youngster and being warned to stay away from it was a hobo shack, literally. There were two guys that lived down there. I have no idea what their real names were, but we called them Buzz and Joel, and they were scary, and we were told to stay away from them. But, that and a big county shed, and this gentrification of this area is just amazing if you have some foresight in terms of what it looked like 60, 70 years ago. And it's just, I'm excited about everything out there. So thanks to everyone.
Thanks, Mike. Anybody else?
Yes, Mayor, I'd like to just make a couple comments here. I think one of the exciting things here, and Mark Dodd touched on this earlier, I really appreciate that, is the theme of inclusion, right? And so whether it's the program that they're doing or Everybody Plays Playground, it's just really exciting that we live in a community that believes in inclusion. So again, I'd also like to thank the committee for the fundraising and hard work they've done, also Christy King and all the work that you've put into it, many other people. And again, very excited to see that Dean Snyder Construction, local contractor, excellent, will do an excellent job on this project. So very excited. I want to thank them for bidding the project and being involved with it. So appreciate that. Thank you.
Any other comments? Therefore, entertain a motion to approve Resolution 2269, a resolution approving plan specs, form of contract, and estimated costs. Motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Gary, seconded by Dana, that we approve Resolution 2269. Is there any discussion? Roll call. Bennett?
Yes.
Dana?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
And Gary?
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Resolution 2269 is duly adopted. And now, to approve take action and approve Resolution 2270, a resolution making an award of contract, and that's to Dean Snyder Construction, Clear Lake, Iowa, in the amount of $1,977,500. Motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Bennett, seconded by Mike, that we approve Resolution 2270. Is there any discussion? Roll call. Dana?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Gary?
Yes.
And Bennett?
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0, and Resolution 2270 is duly adopted. Thank you, DSC. Appreciate that. Chief, report.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I just have a couple minor items tonight, well, maybe not minor in some eyes, but the first is setting trick or treat hours. So I know Ventura had passed at their last council meeting 5 to 7 on the 31st, and we usually kind of go hand in hand with their community. So if there's no objections, we'll put out to the public that Halloween, October 31st from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. will be our sort of trick or treat hours for the community. And secondly is that we need to test the storm siren one more time in October. We had some repairs that were done just last week, and we just want to do one more try with those before we kind of put them to bed for the winter time. So we'll do that the first Tuesday in October, and we'll put that out like we have before. Just want to let the council know that. So other than that, everything has been good over there for us this week, so, or last week too.
Questions for Chief? Thank you, Chief. All right, do I hear a motion for October 31st, 2022 for Halloween trick or treat from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m.?
So move.
Second.
Moved by Gary, seconded by Bennett, that we approve October 31st, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. for trick or treat in Clear Lake. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. Thanks, Chief.
Thank you, Mayor.
Jeremy, anything?
I really don't have anything unless you have any questions for me.
Got snowplows on? Or?
Let's not talk about that yet. We are doing our maintenance on those though, yes.
Good. I saw all that hail in Pella the other day, and I thought, oh, we better get the plows on there for that. Thanks. Director of Finance, Administrative Services, Creighton.
I just wanted to start by saying that being someone who's new to Clear Lake, and I've been here for 2 years now, which is kind of crazy at this point. I mean, does not seem like I've been here for 2 years already. But it's really been an honor to work on a project like this that celebrates Clear Lake's past just as much as it creates opportunities for the future. One of the opportunities that Scott and I have had is sharing this vision with others in the community. Just this last week, we presented at Noon Lions Club. And it was great to see the reaction from everyone. They were very engaged watching it, even though Scott went well beyond the time that we usually allow for speakers at Lions Club. Everyone was engaged because it is such an important part of Clear Lake, as I said, in the past and in the future. And one in attendance, Bob Halford, and he hasn't been to Lions Club in a long time, but he was there this week, and he was really able to share his experiences with the ballroom. And again, we are well over our time, but it was a privilege to just sit there and listen to it. I know, and I've spent a lot of time with Jeff Nicholas as well. It's great to hear his stories and many others, and just being able to, even though I'm new, be able to soak that in and really understand what the Surf Ballroom and that district means to this city. And really it makes it, we always talk about it being a national historic landmark, which is something achieved in the last year, and one of only 27, which I think I've heard Scott say like well beyond 27 times, that's for sure, in the last month here. But it makes it more than that when you have those personal stories that are attached to it. In just over 2 months, we've created a vision that will attract new visitors and new residents to Clear Lake, which is in direct alignment with what the Destination Iowa mission is. The project seeks to create a stronger link between Clear Lake's two most important physical assets, the lake and the surf ballroom. Of course, both of these assets to the community already draw many from outside the state, which is huge when we're looking at this Destination Iowa grant. It's a lot about, of course, serving the community you're in, but also drawing more from people outside the state, even visitors, but also people that want to come and live in Iowa. So there's 4 buckets available, again, for this Destination Iowa program, and the one that we're applying for is called Creative Placemaking. On their website, it says, placemaking is about creating attractive and memorable places for people to live and work by developing transformational projects that leverage local community assets to improve the experience for visitors and residents of the area. So that's exactly what we're doing here, right? We're not creating something brand new. They talk a lot about don't create a project that you could just pick up and put anywhere, but leverage what you have in your community. And that's exactly what we're doing here. We have an opportunity to leverage our biggest assets. The maximum award per project here is up to 40% of the signature project. So it's a big deal if you're able to achieve this grant. So we can start looking at the slides here. And I'll have you know, I did cut the amount of slides in half, so it won't take as long. But there still is a lot here to focus on. So this one, again, is just an aerial view of some of the things we're looking to do in the surf district. So we will get into each of those in further slides. One of the things we're looking at in the area is improving the streetscape throughout the district down there. This is a gateway feature. This was a placeholder back in, I believe it was a 2008 project that the city did. So this is just a placeholder. It wouldn't necessarily be this piece of artwork, but having something right when you're coming off of Highway 18 there to welcome you to the district. This is just another view, just more to highlight the type of art sculptures and that you'll see throughout, and maybe some more green space as well in the area. So this is a great view of the current, this is an aerial view of what we have currently down in the surf district. Some of these, when you zoom in, are getting to the point where you might consider them a blighted property, or at least showing signs of that. So we have a lot of opportunities when we look at the district overall down there. And of course, right there in the center is the surf ballroom. And as you're coming in, where the picture's taken, you're right directly over our lake there. But of course, as you can see there too, there is not a direct connection between the two. If you could come in, theoretically, off of Highway 18, come down because you know about the surf ballroom, and you could go take a tour of the surf ballroom currently, park in the parking lot, do all of that, or come to an event, and you might not even realize you're right across the street from the lake, right? I mean, of course, there's some little views, but if you're focused on just, if you're here to see the surf, you might not even realize it. So one of the things we've sought to do is really create a connection between the two so that visitors to the surf ballroom would be able to see our other great asset there in the lake. And it goes both ways as well, right? Creating the link also from the lake to the surf ballroom. So this is a nice drawing that kind of shows one way that we can do that and really allow for public access in that area as well. So we'll get into some further pictures here, but this is just a drawing. Move on to the next one. So this one's great because this is if you're standing at the front and if you're leaving the surf ballroom, this is directly what you see, right? Kind of hard to miss the lake in this one. You have that pathway that leads you right down to the lake. You have the sculptures on one side there. Again, some of these sculptures and that sort of thing are kind of a placeholder, but this is a really good idea of what it might look like. The next slide is just what it looks like at night. So I like seeing it in both ways. And we can move to the next one here. This is more of the aerial view again. And this shows that same pathway, of course, leading directly from the surf right into our beautiful lake there. We have that wrap around dock feature, which is really nice. Of course, anytime we can add more access to the lake, that's a great thing. And another place for the public to just walk down there and experience the lake. It says Clear Lake Connections and Excursions, and I'll invite Jeff to come up here and talk afterwards, but that's one thing he's very passionate about is having an excursion boat, which again, great idea to get more people out onto our lake and to experience all of Clear Lake. That's just a nice picture there. So here we have highlighted the 4 development initiatives. Number 1, the reimagined historic Oaks Hotel. And this is really cool, and my wife has known about this hotel ever since we've been here, really. Of course, coming from working in hotels, this is a highlight for me as well. And now here we sit exactly 100 years since the building burnt down. But how cool is that we're looking at doing this 100 years to the date? I haven't looked into this yet, and Bennett's kind of helping me with it, but I live in a house right over here on First Avenue North there, and my wife saw something that when the house was first built, they used some materials from this Oaks Hotel. So I don't know how that would all work around the time that it burnt down, or if it was something later. There are some really old historic doors in the house, and there's a couple of my wife's like, you can see where there might have been a room number or something right there. So I need to do a little bit more research there, but kind of a cool connection. Number 2 there, the Enhanced Music Enrichment Center. And this one I think is one that we'll talk a little bit more about tonight because this one has continued to develop as we've gone down this road. Number 3, the Surf District Lighthouse Visitor Center. So to really celebrate a lighthouse structure that used to be there, and when it used to be there, it was a A&W, more of like a drive up, and I know Mike shared his story last meeting here with the little baby root beers and all that sort of thing. So kind of looking at that in a new way, but still celebrating that lighthouse feature. And that's one that we would probably do a few years down the road, but still something to highlight in this project. And then lastly, some mixed-use development opportunities. And some of these are really directly related to if we're doing these other projects, right? So those, again, those aren't things that we'll necessarily be involved with right away, but there are some private developers who are looking at opportunities to make some mixed-use development, so housing, maybe some retail space down there. More likely to happen, I guess, if the rest of this goes. This is kind of your first view. You have over there on the left would be the Oaks Hotel, the reimagined Oaks Hotel, and straight ahead would be the new Music Enrichment Center. This right now is the Hilltop Motel. So that property has been acquired, and that is where we would have the Oaks Hotel, which is its original location. Kind of aerial picture right here, just to highlight both of those. And then that on the left, actually I think even before this project, I think my wife ordered that postcard up there. So I think they have a few of those available on Amazon. So I think we might actually have that postcard, but a really cool picture of the hotel. And so really the idea isn't, we're not gonna make the exact same hotel, right? I remember one of the first meetings, we talked about that staircase. There's no way, right? No, we're not doing that staircase these days for a lot of reasons. But using kind of the same architectural feel in the new hotel there and just giving it new life, I guess. And I would say one of these projects that has already been awarded was to Dyersville for the Field of Dreams. and everything that they're investing in that area, which will be phenomenal. But they also have a boutique-style hotel, and it was very interesting. You pull it up, and it almost looks like, not exactly this hotel, but very similar to this hotel here, so. Hopefully that means good things for our grant application. Right out front here, this is kind of where you would drive through, so that would be, we would invest in that area right there, probably more of like a brick drive, and it's more focused now for hotel guests than it is right now. It's more of like a drive-through for anyone, but this would be more focused on like when you're arriving at the hotel, drop-off location. The Enhanced Music Enrichment Center, and this one will condense everything that is going into this building, but those are kind of ideas right now. We're working on what's all exactly going to fit into that building. But I just wanted to read the Surf Ballroom Music Enrichment Center, and this is currently, is dedicated to providing engaging, hands-on, lifelong learning opportunities to students of all ages and abilities in the greater North Iowa area. And we are passionate about sharing the story of the historic Surf Ballroom. And it goes on from there, but that's really what the continued vision will be of this building. And we'll have the opportunity to expand on that, but in addition to that, there's a few things that we'll be able to, I guess, move over from the Surf Ballroom that would allow the Surf Ballroom, again, to become more of what it was when it was originally built. So the opportunity to move some offices and things like that over to this building. One more idea that was thrown out there was on the rooftop of this building, having it more of like a public park type of thing where it might even be green space up there, opportunities for smaller concerts, or even, who knows, you could probably have a wedding up there or something like that. So that's just another concept that we're looking at that would work well, I guess, with what's existing in the Surf Ballroom currently. And really the architecture here is kind of based off of the original Surf Ballroom there on the left. So trying to incorporate some of that into the Enhanced Music Enrichment Center. This again is the the Surf District Lighthouse Visitor Center. So again, this would be further a few years down the road, so not something that we'll be seeking funding for in the grant, but something worth highlighting at this point. Of course, that is the restaurant that is existing there currently. Just a very nice aerial view there of the lighthouse. This is kind of just to give an idea of what the mixed-use development might look like. And that is, of course, a picture in the middle there of what we have down on Main here. So something along those same lines where you're able to have condos or apartments and then maybe some retail space on the first floor. And to wrap it up, this is kind of, you go back to the aerial view there just so you can see where the hotel exists. You see the Music Enrichment Center right there, and then the Surf Ballroom with the direct access to the lake, and then you have the mixed use over there on the right. And then, of course, there's trees and green space and sculptures scattered throughout there. So where we're at right now, of course, we have, what are we on the 19th today? So we have about 10 days left to get this done. We do have a special council meeting, of course, set for the 26th, and that is where we will get into more of the details here, letters of intent and that sort of thing. We do have in the back of your packet here one of those, which is the financial services agreement. We're not acting on that tonight, but just for your review there, we have met with Tim Oswald already from Piper Sandler, and really he put together some very nice framework looking at what the Paytech study did for the hotel and also some different options for financing and kind of figuring out the best solution there. So that's really what this details out. But again, we won't be acting on that until the 26th, and we'll have a couple other items to act on. as well. But I would, if I could, and you can, if you have questions first, of course, go ahead. But I would like to invite Jeff or anyone else up here who wants to talk on the surf district as well.
Go ahead, Jeff.
As you might guess, this is really more than we could ever dream for. And I think we're at a moment in time here. These are things that we've all thought about for years and years and years, but with this economic development grant, hopefully we can be successful in that, and with your all support, we can pull this off. I'm glad Creighton mentioned that. It's interesting because what we're trying to do is the Oaks Hotel was built in 1893, about within a year or two of the outing club. And the original surf was on the lake, was built in 1933. And so that's kind of our tie from the Oaks Hotel to the old surf back into the 1940s and now current history into the new surf. So we think that's fairly significant. And I guess really the only thing I would say is that I think it's been said tonight, we're all humble. We are all humble at the surf that we're able to, so fortunate to have the Snyder family purchase it when it was necessary. We've loved you and appreciated you guys' support. Lori's done a fabulous job as executive director. But I really think we're at the time, we're humbled to live in this wonderful community, but I think that also means we have responsibility and an obligation to do what we can to make it even better. And I truly believe there will be very few communities in the entire Midwest that will look like Clear Lake if we can do this.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak to that? This certainly is, as we said at our last meeting, this is a wonderful opportunity for our community to get behind a project. And I've always said that's our entertainment district. Up here on Main Street is our retail district. We have the wonderful new North Shore Drive to connect the two. I use the word again, we have an opportunity here, and if we're fortunate to get a grant to help us out, that's wonderful. That's exactly what we need. There's been a lot of work already done, and we've got a lot of work to do in the next 10 days. And will lead me right into the next statement is that we have to set a council meeting for September 26, 2022 at 6 p.m. So I'll entertain a motion to approve that right now.
So moved. Second.
By Dana, seconded by Mark, that we set a special council meeting for September 26, 2022 at 6 p.m. right here in the council chambers. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. So we'll meet here right away at 6 p.m. on September 26th. And this will be our main concern that evening, is to get information to make sure we have that in our grant application for this, what I think down the road for Clear Lake, they will look back on this as a critical time, a very important time, and an exciting time. Hopefully we get that grant.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, Mayor, if I could comment real quick, or, is that okay? Okay. Yeah, I just really agree. I think, as Creighton said, and terrific presentation, I appreciated Jeff Nicholas's comments. It's a terrific asset, the surf is, to our community. And as you pointed out, Creighton, as of last year, one of only 27 National Historic Landmarks in Iowa. But I think the broader district around it is looking a bit worn and dated, as you acknowledged. Frankly, it's suffered from a lack of public and private investment over the years. As we all know, image is everything. And when it comes to public perceptions and investor expectations. So I think in order to transform the district into a more engaging and vibrant area, we need three components to make this project a success. And frankly, you touched on some of these already, Creighton, so I'll just be brief. But I think first, as you said, is a vision. which we've created with this plan. Secondly, stewardship, which the city, in conjunction with the nonprofit, and again, I want to thank your board, Jeff, and everybody involved with that. I think, we're getting into that, and that will sustain the project. And then finally, boldness, as we continue to take the next steps with aggressive investment in the SURF district. It will spark further development in the area and generate tremendous local economic impact beyond the SURF district. So, I think it's a terrific project, and I want to thank everyone who has been involved with it. Again, the board, the Snyder family, Creighton, you and Scott, I think have done a terrific job, and looking forward to see how this develops over many years. So, thank you, Mayor.
And into the mayor's report, a very great leader of our community passed away earlier today in Ray Hewitt. And he was certainly outstanding in this community, former CEO, chairman of the board, president of Clear Lake Bank and Trust for years. He was a chamber president, been a grand marshal of the parade, and played golf with him. And I think he was better than I was at times coming around there, but just a wonderful gentleman. And our thoughts and prayers go to the family of Ray Hewitt. Is there anything else, gentlemen, to come before the council tonight? None appearing? Go Vikes. Meeting adjourned.